Hi ladies, Jaki Sabourin here, and this is your date night live video, and I wanted to talk to you about how to tell if he's into you. And so maybe some of these suggestions that I'm going to give you are things that you're aware of, but it doesn't hurt to go over these little points that I'm going to make, because sometimes we forget. Sometimes the obvious isn't so obvious, or sometimes we start to buy into rational lies that our mind makes up about a man that may be or may not be that into you. And so I want to just go over these bullets that I've outlined for you. But before I do, I want to say hi to a couple ladies that are joining the call. Hi, Dinah. Nice to see you here. Hi, Paula. And hi, Terry. Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you. Mwah! So glad you're here. I missed last week. I actually took a break because I was on a little holiday with my family, but I'm back and I'm really excited to connect with you tonight. And so how can you tell if he's really into you? Because everyone expresses themselves differently while dating. And there's this whole spectrum of emotions that come into play, including fear of rejection, insecurity, and ego-related issues, right? And also, when you're sincerely drawn to someone, the urge is going to be really strong to deny. You're really going to know. But let's go over just some bullets so that you can use it as a guide. So when you observe a man's actions or lack of them, you're giving yourself the opportunity to realistically gauge his intentions. And this is what I always call, watch his actions more than his words. You tend to overanalyze, right? Or give into the anxiety and possibly even self-sabotage the relationship by wondering and overanalyzing, is he really into you? And what it happens is you can get hurt because you can sabotage it. And so I want you to just relax and go with the flow and look for these signs, because they're going to tell you whether he's into you or not. And so one of the first ones, it's really obvious, I probably don't even need to mention it, but I will anyways, is he's going to be proactively calling and texting you. Even though I've been with Michael for 6 years, every day he texts me thinking of you, and I text him back. So even though we're married and we're in a bit of a routine, he always reaches out and lets me know that he's thinking of me. And this morning I got up at 5:30 and left my house because I wanted to get to work early. So I wrote him a little sticky note and left it on the refrigerator and said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Love you. So I did that because I want him to know that I'm thinking of him. And so this is what you do when you're into somebody. So if a man's into you, he's going to be doing those things. He's going to be proactively calling you and texting you and keeping in touch with you. The next thing that he's going to do is going to be making arrangements to see you. He's going to be thinking ahead, like, okay, next weekend, what's coming up? I have Monday off. Let's see what we can do. He's going to start to put a trip together for you, or a time that you can get together, or a barbecue, or I'll pick up a movie. He's going to be making arrangements to see you so that you can get together, because he's into you and he wants to spend time with you. And another thing is, a man that's really into you is going to be very persistent. He's not going to take a no for an answer. He's going to make sure that he scoops you up before anybody else does. And so he will, if you say that you're not available on Thursday or Friday night because you're busy with work or whatever, he's going to say, well, what about Saturday? What about Sunday? What about Monday morning? He's going to be persistent. You want to look for that persistence, because that means he's really into you. And so another thing that'll tell you that he's really into you is his body language is going to tell you. Physical touch is a dead giveaway. He's going to be reaching for your hand. He's going to be tucking your hair behind your ears or moving a hair out of your face. If a man touches you that way, he's into you. Men don't touch women that they're not into. And maybe he's opening the doors for you, or he's gently guiding you as you walk through doorways, or he's kind of steering you with his hand on the small of your back. These are all signals that he's very into you. And I love when a man touches me, when my husband touches me, because it lets me know that he's thinking of me. It's those nonverbal communication, that physical touch really lets you know. And it also confirms the fact that he's really attracted to you and he has chemistry with you. And so I hope you guys are finding some value in this. Hi, Doreen, nice to see you. Good to see you, honey. Okay, I'm going to keep going with my little list here. This is another one that I think is really important, and I find this is happening with me and Michael, is that he listens to me and he remembers what I tell him. It's so interesting. Have you ever been on a date and you're talking and you're having a good time, and then maybe you have another date and he'll bring up something you said and you're like, I don't even remember sharing that, but you shared it because you feel comfortable with him, so you're relaxed, so you're sharing things, but he remembers the details. He remembers the details about what you shared about your kids or about your job, or maybe that you had a rough day. So he's going to be remembering those and repeating those back to you. So not that you need to censor yourself, but men do really listen to you, especially when they're into you. So make sure you're conscious with what you're sharing, because it's not going to forget it, especially about other men. Men never forget something that you shared about another man. So if you go on and on about somebody, even if it's in a positive way, he's going to think that maybe you're still into them. So be careful with that. Temper those shares with just bullets, right? Minimize it. So another thing that you're going to notice that he's really into you is he's going to open up about his passions, about his goals, about his opinions, especially about his opinions, right? He's going to trust you with his opinions because he has developed a rapport with you where he feels safe to share with you how he really feels, and you're not going to throw it back in his face. You're not going to judge him about it. Doesn't mean you're going to agree with him, but you're definitely going to hear him, and he feels safe to do that. And it's sometimes harder to speak about ourselves than it is to delve into somebody else's experience. But if he opens up about what he's passionate about, maybe he might share that he wished he was still playing guitar. He used to play it when he was younger. Or maybe he wished that he was still surfing. As we get older, we tend to get busy with work, and sometimes we let our hobbies go. Maybe he might share something transparent or vulnerable with you, and that's something that you want to just listen and maybe encourage him. Well, maybe sometime in the future you can get back into it, or maybe we can do something where we can get out there on the water. And so he wants you to be a part of his experience when he's opening up about his passions and his goals and his opinions. He wants you to be a part of that. That's why he's sharing it with you in the first place. And so this is a really great sign, because he wants you to know what makes him happy, or maybe what makes him downright angry. You're important enough to him to share that with you. So just take that as a good sign when he's sharing those things, whether they make him angry or not. That means he trusts you enough to open up to you. Another thing is, this is probably an obvious one, but it's really nice to remember these things, is he's always considering your needs. He's thinking ahead. For example, I am totally addicted to La Croix water. In fact, I can see one on my desk over there, and I wish I would have brought it over here. I love that water, and it's an obscene amount that I'm drinking. I need to get a grip. But Michael is going to the store, and he's buying me cases in advance, and he stacks those up in the pantry. And as soon as he notices that I'm down to like 6 cold cans, he replenishes my supply. I mean, that is just so sweet. And so that tells me that he's really into me. And it's not just because we're married. He's still into me. He still does that because I make a big deal out of it, and he knows it makes me happy, and I love drinking that water. So he continues to do those considerate things for me, and I do considerate things for him, like leaving the note on the refrigerator for him. That's a considerate thing that you can do for a man, or give him a little text that lets him know that you're into him. All of these things work both ways, by the way. Another thing is that he includes you in his life. Of course, he's starting to talk to you about you and to you in a future tense. Now, I have a client right now that has been really working on herself, and I'm so excited. She's finally at this place in her life where she's done so much self-mastery that she's now on the receiving mode. She met an amazing man, and he is treating her to, they just spent a weekend away, their first weekend away, and it went really well. And during that time, he was saying that he wanted her to meet his children. They're 10 and 11. And that's like a big milestone. He's now thinking of her in a future tense. And so him wanting her to meet his children is a really big deal. It means he trusts her. He sees her in his life long term, or he wouldn't expose a woman to his children if he didn't have feelings for her. And so he has not said, I love you yet. because I recommend her not saying it until he says it first, but he's doing all of these things to show her that he's really into her. So now she's going to be meeting his children this weekend. So he's including her in his life. He's wanting her to meet his family. She's already met a colleague. He's considering his schedule and her schedule and how he can incorporate them. In fact, he already asked her to go away with him in October, and he's already planning on Thanksgiving with her. So this is all about him thinking of her, showing her that he's really into her and that he wants to make a future with her. And so all she has to do is sit back and receive that and be very grateful, be very appreciative, compliment him. Men love compliments. Notice what he's saying and mirror what he's doing. Of course, not the giving, the receiving, but just being grateful and being in the moment. And so some of the things that I shared with you are pretty obvious, but some of them maybe aren't so obvious. And if a man isn't getting back to you right away, isn't keeping in touch with you, isn't texting you, isn't making plans with you, then he's not that into you. And I'm not saying that to upset you or hurt your feelings. I just want to be the one that tells you the truth, because a lot of people don't tell the truth anymore. And the best thing you can do is move on to the next guy if you're not getting that response from him, so you don't waste your precious time. This is all about not wasting time and being in your emotional integrity. Emotional integrity is your emotional honesty. It's your ability to be emotionally honest with yourself before you're honest with anybody. So you're looking at these signs. If they're not there, it's a sign that he's not made up his mind about you, or he's not as into you as maybe you're into him. And you really want a man to be as into you as you're into him. So it needs to be even and equal. Otherwise, it's going to be imbalanced, and you're always going to be wondering and stressing out is if he's really into you. So I hope these guidelines helped you clear up any confusion you have about whether or not a man's into you. And if you have any questions, I would love to hear them in the box below. I'm looking to see if there's any questions. And hi, I like seeing all the ladies here. I'm glad you're all here. And I'm just reading to see if there's anybody who has a question. I don't see anybody who has a question. So ladies, I hope this was helpful. Thank you all for being here. Angelina and Jill, hi. Thank you for being here. Hi, Lynn. And hi, Christina and Terry. And again, Doreen and Dinah and Wendy. So nice to see you, ladies. I miss you. I wish I could reach through the screen right now and give you all a big virtual hug. I'm always thinking about you and can't wait to hear that you're engaged or you met a guy and you have a boyfriend and you have plans for the fall. So the biggest thing that I can leave you with right now is to move on when a man's not that into you, because you're not looking for all men, you're just looking for one man. And believe me, the sooner you go through the dating cycle, the faster you'll get to the one that is into you. And that I just don't want you to waste any more of your precious time. And so being emotionally honest with yourself about what's happening is going to save you a lot of time. And it's going to save you a lot of heartache and a lot of disappointment. And that's what we want. We want to fast track you. So emotional honesty with yourself is the number one thing you want to do. And believe me, if a man is not into you as you are into him, he's doing you a favor. Okay? So let yourself off the hook. Let him off the hook. Swim away. Don't hang on to your exes. Don't go backwards, go forwards. And there's so many men out there online. If you're not having success online, check in with your strategy. Check out your dating app. Make sure your profile is updated. Start to change things up. Reach out and get help. Post here in the comment box so that we can help you, because this process can move really quickly. Anytime that it's slowing down, it's because you're experiencing some kind of resistance to what is. A lot of times we waste a lot of time in resistance. And what I mean by that is that we don't want to accept what is as is. That's what resistance is. It's the energy that keeps you from having what you want, because you want it to be, or more better said is your mind wants it to be different than it is, but it's not. So sooner you can get into the acceptance and get rid of the resistance, the faster you move through the dating process, and the sooner you'll find your beloved, somebody that loves and adores you as much as you love and adore him. And I promise you, he's out there. The only way you can fail is if you quit, and I'm not going to let you quit. So those of you who are wanting to really fast track yourself, I want to suggest that you take a look at the link I'm going to drop in the box, because I have a retreat in New York City coming up. This is your opportunity to meet with me on a one-on-one basis. We're going to have an incredible 3-day workshop, transformational retreat, where you're going to have an opportunity to take the information, all the intellectual knowledge that I teach, and apply it. Okay, that's what empowerment is. It's the application of the knowledge. Information is not transformation. You need to create a transformation for yourself. And how you do that in a very short time is to immerse yourself into a real world experience where you can have a real world shift. And you can do that by attending my retreat in New York City, October 26th, 27th, and 28th. We're staying downtown at the Essex Hotel in Manhattan. It's going to be 3 days of chock full of exercises. We're going to have a workbook. We're going to have a deep dive. We're going to come up for air and have some fun. We're going to come back into it. We're going to have live coaching in the moment. We're going to have breakout sessions where we can address exactly what it is that you're struggling with, so that we can help you to surface and release these blocks that keeping you, to help give you this clarity that you really need to move forward quickly. And then we're going to set a plan in action during the retreat, that when you leave there, you will move forward. You will know what your fall looks like. You'll know exactly what your next steps are, and you'll be actually practicing those next steps in a real world environment. And that's how you achieve mastery, by practicing. Mastery happens in the midst of life. It doesn't happen on a mountaintop. That's renunciation. This is how you master something, is by putting yourself in a position so that you can achieve some expertise. And I'm going to teach you the skill set that you need to not only meet and marry your man, but stay happily married like I am to Michael. So I'm going to drop the link in the box. Check it out. It'll get you to my calendar where we can have a quick call and see if it's a fit for you. Okay, ladies, I hope you enjoyed this session. And as always, I'm sending you so much love. Have a great evening and have a great weekend. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.